Hello, welcome to Dear Source, your daily dose of spiritual guidance, where we dive deep into real life questions and struggles using ancient wisdom and universal principles to find clarity, peace, and alignment. Whether you're navigating relationships, inner conflicts, or seeking purpose, this is a space where we honor your journey with compassion, non judgment, and insights. Drawing from the universal laws, A Course in Miracles, the Law of One, and the Hermetic Principles, we are here to help you find answers, connect to your truth, and to elevate your path to healing and growth. Now, let's explore today's letter and connect with the wisdom of Source. So today's letter reads, Dear Source, I've been in a career for over 20 years, and for the most part, I've loved what I do. I had a great boss who truly understood the work and supported our team in a way that made us feel motivated and connected. But recently, I got a new boss and things have changed. To be honest, they're less than stellar at my job. Their leadership style isn't effective, and I'm finding it hard to stay engaged. I'm at a crossroads because I don't want to quit my job. I've invested so much in this career and I still love the work itself. But the situation with my new boss is leaving me feeling frustrated and I don't know how to move forward. I feel stuck and I'm losing the sense of passion and fulfillment that I once had. How do I navigate this situation without completely letting it drain me? I want to stay, but I'm struggling to find how to find purpose and motivation under this new leadership. Sincerely, feeling stuck and disengaged. Well, thank you, feeling stuck and disengaged, for your beautiful letter. I think I think a lot of people can resonate with this feeling of how do you feel engaged and motivated at work? And it can be very perplexing, but we're going to just keep this lesson today, or the advice, really simple. Is everything in this universe exists in relationship. And so when we look at this situation, whether it's your relationship with the new boss, your relationship with your old boss, your relationship to the job itself, all of those are tools gifted to you by the universe in order to grow yourself. So what essentially is the purpose? Like sometimes it's like, why is this happening to me? And we can feel very victimized, and that's very much our ego. The ego, when we think about it, is our own energy working against us. It's that illusion of our separate self. It's what keeps us very tied to who we identify as. So when I think of this letter in this situation, it was presented to you for your highest and your greatest growth. And when you are getting triggered by the new boss, there is a lesson in there for your highest and greatest good of like, what is being triggered in you? This is where there's got to be a lot of self-exploration around what is truly going on. Like, why is this triggering me? What is so triggering about this? And how can I take and learn from this? This obviously happened to move you forward in a direction. And I'm going to always call it a new direction, because anytime that we're growing and evolving, we're absolutely moving in a different direction. And that doesn't mean necessarily get a new job or anything necessarily like that. But it's like you're essentially been given this gift to transform yourself step into a higher version of yourself. Where that points you, where that takes you, I don't have the answer. Only you hold the answer for that. But it's like, what has this gifted me? What is this triggering within myself to grow me to the highest and greatest level that I am here to be as a human being? And I think this situation, and this is in every situation, doesn't matter what's happening, is here for our evolutionary growth as a human being. It is here to point us back to an internal knowingness about ourselves, that we are here to learn. It is here to help us attune to our highest frequency that we could possibly be. And so when things get presented to us and we identify, like, well, what within me, like what is really bothering me? Maybe I don't deal well with change. I have an innate sense of insecurity. Well, where does that insecurity lie? Where is that coming from? Because that's, again, your ego, because at the core of who we are and the remembrance of who we remember that we are the infinite abundance of the universe. We remember that we are an emanation of God. We remember that we are God eternal within the body. That's the universal truth. With that being said, we're also human beings trying to remember that that's the true essence of who we are. And so when things present themselves, such as this example with a new boss, that's an opportunity to look back within ourselves to go, where is this pointing me that I don't remember the truth of who I really am? Where do I feel insecure or maybe off balance in my new job because I have a new boss? Like, what internally within me is triggering that? Where is that coming from? And typically that's usually coming from, well, it's coming from our ego, because our highest self knows that we're safe. Our highest self knows that we are all that is. Our highest version of ourselves knows all the universal truths. It's our ego, which is so nuanced, that we are here to essentially transcend and overcome. And we're never going to necessarily neutralize it, because it's so innate in who we are and on our evolutionary path of, like, why are we even here? We're here to constantly be in a state of evolution. And as we move into the next phase of our evolution, we're raising our consciousness into our heart-centered consciousness. And that means that we're getting presented all these beautiful opportunities to go, okay, how do I remember the truest essence of who I am? But then B, what is at play in the lower energy centers that needs to be requalified or neutralized so that I can sit in a space of unconditional love? I can sit in a space of peace. I can sit in a space and truly know, oh, that's what's going on here. This person was gifted to me for my highest lesson. And that's to heal something within myself, to grow myself, to be in the truest state of knowing who I am. So, in this example, sitting with yourself and going, what is really triggered within me? When I think of the core of who we are as human beings, one of the beliefs that is at the foundation that we're here to truly overcome is our lack. And in that lack is also the separation from God. And in that lack is also ego. So anytime that we are seeking or we are in a state of separation from our true divine essence of who we are, we're in a state of lack. And if we're in a state of lack, we're trying to seek and attach with something that is going to fill us up, which then feeds into our second layer of our ego, kind of as we've gone on our evolutionary track, is like, okay, I can produce this outcome. Like I now am attached to, I can make this better. And when this isn't going this well, I then get angry. And so then I have an attachment to the outcome, which is then typically if I'm not getting what I want, then there's anger there. So then you have that piece to examine. Am I angry? What am I attached to as far as the outcome? What part of me doesn't feel safe and secure to allow that to just be and to go along for the ride and know that I don't need to dictate the outcome? Which then also, when we think of the other element of our ego that's always at play, that's causing us maybe stress or anxiety or panic, or is no thinking that we are the individual doer. That's really where we get into the whole discussion around non-doership versus doership. And we perceive ourselves as doers a lot of times. So if I do this, that'll produce this outcome. I'm in control of this. If I act this way, if I do this, this will get me what I want. And in all reality, all the beliefs of the ego start from that innate understanding that we are separate. There's a separation with God. So if I'm separate from God, then I can't trust God to take care of this, which then means I, Aaron, the ego, thinks I know better than God. So here's what I'm going to do. And then when the doing that I'm doing is not producing the outcome that I want, I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be stressed. I'm going to be frustrated, as well as in all of this, you're in separation because you're not in right relationship with yourself. But then if you can't see everything else is existing in relationship, then you're now not in relationship with your boss. And now you're creating separation and judgment with them and judging their behavior. And if they didn't do this, then I would be fine. No, when you are fine and don't care what you're doing, that's when you're going to truly transcend the whole situation. So there's kind of multiple spiritual lessons here. What is number one is, what is this teaching me about myself? What is it within me that is essentially being triggered by this? And how do I heal that? Whether that's control, whether that's security, whether that's insecurity, because it's like, oh my gosh, my last boss really liked me. I don't know if this one's going to like me. I mean, there's so much to uncover within this. And there's only you internally know what that is. And when you shine a light on it and you bring awareness to it, that's all you have to do. Oh, I'm aware of that's what's going on here. That's what I'm insecure about. And then you have to, which is like the feminine essence of the healing of what are all the emotions, what's going on. And then the masculine energy of healing is the reminding back too of what's really true. Oh, well, what's true here is that I am a divine being and I am an emanation of God, and I'm in oneness with everything else, which means I'm in relationship with everything else, which then means, okay, I can understand where this is coming from and I can love and acknowledge that part of me, like, oh, you feel stress and anxiety because you just don't like change. And that's like one of your greatest traits is like you are, you know, so empowered to hold the frequency of just love and kindness that when anytime that might get disrupted, that shakes your foundation. So that means you've got to go in and fall in love with what's the part of myself that is feeling that angst, anxiety, stress, lack, anger, whatever it is. You got to then integrate that piece of you by also loving that part of you and remembering that that piece of you is equally as important because essentially it's trying to keep you safe according to the ego. So finding out why and what's triggering you and going in and reintegrating that piece into you, falling in love with that piece of you is one step of the phase of healing all of this. And then also remembering, as you go through that, like what's really going on here. I'm in relationship with everybody and I'm in relationship with everyone and everything. Everything exists in relationship. So how can I, as an being that is eternal forever and ever, see my oneness with everyone else that is going into this and to connect into that, to connect into, oh, my boss is one just like me. They are just a child of God. Their state of consciousness at this present moment is the highest that they can be at. That doesn't mean there's judgment there. It's just an acknowledgement of God has everybody held right where they need to be held. And the way that we solve our challenges or issues or problems in this world isn't by pointing out what somebody else is doing wrong, but coming into an understanding of what do I need to shift within myself so that I am unbothered by that. They are giving me the gift to build myself up to no longer be bothered by what they're doing because I understand that they are right where they need to be in any given moment in time. And so they are gifting you this unwavering gift back to yourself of they're a child of God and I'm a child of God. And I can see them right where that they are. And when you start to really be able to alchemize and do that, that's when the magic really starts to happen on our planet. And to understand that how we then heal that relationship, if we follow the principles laid out in the Course in Miracles, for example, one of them being anything that I am not giving can be lacking in any situation. So if we perceive that they are unloving, how are we then giving love? How are we being in that state of beingness to then have that return to us? So remember too, that what we're putting out is what we're getting back. We are the creators of our own universe. So what we give out is what we get back. Not necessarily always in the exact moment, in the exact time with that exact individual, but are we truly polarizing ourselves to the positive polarity by being in service to others? Are we understanding that when I give, I then can receive? That's the energy we're supposed to be in as human beings is I'm a being. I am the infinite abundance of the universe. I am all that is. I am God made manifest on this earth. I am God eternal within the body. So when I know that, that's what I give into the world to then receive that back from the world. So when we're in complete and total understanding of the innate abundance that we are, We have everything to give because we are the universe itself. So if I'm perceiving myself in a state of lack or insecurity, guess what I'm going to get back from the universe in a variety of ways, through a variety of people. The universe is just gifting me back the frequency I'm putting out. So if I'm putting out a frequency of honesty and truth and kindness and showing that through my acts of service to others and being in those states of consciousness and oneness with everybody else, I'm going to receive that back into me. And the only way we learn how to do that is to understand when we aren't in that vibrational state of wholeness and oneness and completeness and abundance and love, is to go, where is that triggered within me? How do I go find that piece of me that I have lost or is lacking or maybe was wounded in the past, and bring love to that piece of me, to go, oh, you love so much that you actually put up walls to keep yourself safe. It's safe. You're safe. Let's love that part of ourselves. So this is kind of a big one to unpack. I don't want to take a long time. But what I would advocate is to really understand, how do you get comfortable with understanding where you're triggered? What is that person bringing up in you? What are they mirroring in you that's here for you to heal, to remember your oneness and your wholeness with the divinity of who you are? And then as you do that, then you're going to apply to yourself, like when you start to feel one and whole within yourself and are in right relationship with yourself, then you're going to be able to hold and go out and see everyone else in that same space. Like, I can see my boss as a whole and complete individual, that they are a child of God, and I can hold space. And whatever they're doing, if I get triggered, is for my teaching and my learning. And if I'm getting triggered, am I holding judgment? Am I doing something that I need to then look within myself to heal? Because where we're going to really move the needle is when we're in internal peace and prosperity. No one or nothing's going to be able to shake that foundation that we hold within ourselves. So I hope that answered your question, feeling stuck and disengaged. And if it didn't, please reach back out. One of the things I will be doing on Fridays is sharing, answering any questions that came up over the course of the week, in order to answer those based on the episodes, what I've put out. So if you have any questions on anything that I've ever shared, please write in. I will be answering those questions on Fridays, as well as I'll be talking about the upcoming letters that I have in queue, so that if you do have any questions or there's a specific topic that you want to know about, you'll know what day and time to tune into that. So I want to thank you again for joining us in today's episode of Dear Source, where aligning spiritual principles with real world experiences is what we're here to do. Remember, no matter the challenge you face, peace, clarity, and wisdom are always available when you connect with your higher self. If today's discussion resonated with you and you're seeking deeper personalized guidance, I invite you to book a private session with me. Together, we can explore your spiritual path and unlock the answers you've been searching for. And if you're ready to connect with like-minded spiritual communities, coming soon, there will be the Ascendancy Collective, where you can join and be in a group that supports each other's growth, healing, and ascension. So first and foremost, know that you do not walk this path alone. Join us, and we are going to rise together. Please take action, like, share, subscribe, And until next time, trust the process, honor your truth, and stay connected with Source.